The San Jose Sharks' future just changed forever as they fall to the second overall pick in this year's entry draft. What are we going to see Mike Grier and the Sharks do with this pick? And who are some of the top prospects that are going to be on their radar? We're going to break it all down for you guys coming up on this episode of Sharks Digest. But before we get into it, we got to say we're on the road for 2,000 subscribers here before draft day. So if you want to stay up on the latest San Jose Sharks news and everything that's going to happen this busy offseason, make sure down below and hit that subscribe button. But like I said, it is official. The San Jose Sharks are the second overall pick in this year's entry draft. And yes, I get it. It's not the first overall pick, but drafting second in this draft is just as good as drafting first. I mean, at first, you get the pick from anybody, but at second, there is a great draft pool this year. The top two picks in Schaefer and Misa, who we're going to talk about in just quite a bit, are great prospects and both franchise players here. So it's great to see the Sharks not fall any further in this draft and just drop one spot down to the second overall pick. And there's one thing that a lot of people are talking about online right now, and obviously the New York Islanders did beat out the San Jose Sharks to get that number one overall pick, and there's a guy in the top three of this draft in James Hagan, who is from Long Island, New York. So there's a lot of speculation online right now. Initial reaction from fans around the league is that the Islanders are going to go with the hometown boy here in James Hagan, and that's going to leave Schaefer and Misa for the Sharks to pick up one of those guys. So let's hope that does play out, and it would be great to see maybe New York draft a local boy. I think that would be cool, and then that leaves us who we want, Matthew Schaefer. I mean, going into this draft lottery tonight, we all expected, we had the 25% pick, percent odds to get the first overall pick. Unfortunately, we didn't get it. I mean, after the first couple of balls were drawn, we dropped down to 8% of getting that pick. So we're lucky to stay up where we are at the second overall pick, and hopefully what I just said plays out, and we will be able to draft this franchise defenseman in Matthew Schaefer. And as you see, 6'2", 180, and he's only played 17 games this year, did end up with injury, but he is a great prospect here. 22 points in those games, and ever since, this draft has been looming, he has been the consensus number one. He is the next defenseman of the future for hockey, so that's exactly what the Sharks need right now. I mean, obviously, we have Dickinson coming up through the system as well, but if we can get another franchise defenseman like Erik Karlsson or someone like that, that would definitely help this team out down the road for the future. Having a solid guy on the back end definitely does help, and it's just great to see the Sharks get this position to now where they can hopefully pick this guy up for the future. And this is a guy who I could even see maybe start next season. The Sharks aren't expecting to, compete next year, so you bring this guy in like we did with Macklin Celebrini last year, and that works out perfectly, and I think that's great. And one thing I did want to note here before we move on to the next player is, the Sharks have picked second 3 times in franchise history, and you know who the last guy they picked at the number 2 selection was? Patrick Marleau, and he turned out pretty good for this team. So if we can get Matthew Schaefer to come in at number 2 and, become one of the greatest Sharks of all time like Patrick Marleau did, this would be great for this team, and I'm excited to see if we do go out and get this guy. If he does fall to the second selection, I think that is definitely what the Sharks do go after, but there is a great guy here as well that a lot of mock drafts and projections after, just soon after this announcement are saying that Michael Misa will end up a San Jose Shark. And this guy has been electric all year with the Saginaw Spirit down in the OHL, has been playing with our boy Chernyshov, another guy in our prospect pool. He's a center, he's 6'1", and he had 134 points in just 62 games this year in the OHL, with 72 of them being assists. This guy was an absolute beast in the OHL this year. Obviously, he's been jumping off the draft charts as well. There are some, scouting scouting networks that do have him as the number 1 overall pick. But I think just where defensemen are harder to come by, they're valued more than forwards because there are a lot of great forwards in this draft. It is a very deep draft, but Michael Misa tops them all. I mean, this guy's just an offensive powerhouse. The way that he can move the puck around is electric, and he's just like a magician out there. This kid is going to be a great center for the future of this league, and is it one that I see the Sharks going after? I definitely think if he is available, they do select him here. I don't think this is a guy you definitely pass up on. There's no doubt about that. But, you know, obviously how big the center depth is right now in San Jose with Will Smith and Macklin Celebrini. You bring in another young center, Michael Misa, that kind of jams him up and maybe halts his development a little bit. But we did see at the end of last year, Will Smith play wing on that top line. So maybe they see him more as a winger for the future, and then Michael Misa can come in and be this 2C for the Sharks for the future. Maybe they even see Misa on the wing. You know, this could be something like this, but I think it's going to be a interesting conversation around the San Jose Sharks. This guy is definitely a great backup option. But the number 1 guy that we want here is Matthew Schaefer. We need defensemen. He's the consensus number 1. He's going to be a great defenseman in the NHL for years to come. So this is the guy that we do want to go after. And like I said, about Michael Misa, too. This guy's had multiple point games this season with 46 of his 65 games having multi-point nights. Like I said, this guy just tore it up in the OHL this year. But looking at an early mock draft, we're like about half hour out of recording from the draft, from the draft lottery. So we're just, about 30 minutes removed. This is early look at the mock draft. And they do have Michael Misa going to the San Jose Sharks, but they do also have, Schaefer going to the Islanders. But I do think that we could see Hagens definitely jump up here to the New York Islanders. But one thing I did want to note here is if Mike Grier and the San Jose Sharks say, hey, we're really dead set on drafting a defenseman this year, he's said in the past, he's not afraid to move this pick. So if the opportunity does arise where maybe Schaefer gets taken number 1, maybe they trade down to 10th or 11th or maybe, 6th or 7th in this draft. You see guys down there like Jackson Smith, the next best defensive prospect in this pool. So if they're dead set on drafting a defenseman, I definitely think that Mike Grier isn't afraid to move this pick off and just shift down further in this draft to get a defenseman if Schaefer is not available when that pick does come. I think that will be something that we'll need to monitor over the next little while until draft day, because I think there's going to be a lot of talk around San Jose moving this pick, where he said it even before the draft lottery was even the thing. I mean, like a month ago he said this. So now that they're second, maybe he might be more inclined to move this pick if Schaefer isn't available, but it will be very interesting to see what the Sharks do with this pick. It's going to be a fun couple of months off-season for Sharks fans with a lot of money to work with and a big draft on the horizon. This team has a lot of moves to make, a big pick to make, and a big decision to make, and we're going to keep you guys updated on everything. So make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're going to be here, talking about these prospects in depth, videos on all these prospects coming up in the near future. So make sure to stay tuned so you know and have the best information on who the Sharks are going to pick. But if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Like I said, we're on the road for 2K here before draft day. And if we do that, we'd really love to do that. But as always, I've been your host, KC. Keep your stick on the ice.